First, of course, before the sale agreement is that you need to satisfy yourself that this land that you're buying is essentially a good buy. How do you do that? But there are other processes that you need to undertake after that to satisfy yourself that indeed you're first dealing with the correct vendor, the person who's selling you the land. Secondly, the measurements probably as contained in the title document are correct. So what you need to do then is you approach a lawyer.
Hello guys, and welcome to another amazing video. This is your girl Wambui. If you have been following this channel, then you know the main purpose of my channel is to educate and share information surrounding the real estate industry. If it's your first time here, then please be sure to subscribe and turn that notification bell on. Straight to today's topic, we are discussing land purchase process in Kenya. Beside me is my guest for today. I will allow him to introduce himself and maybe a brief of what he does and who he is. Karibu sana.
Thank you, Wambui. Viewers, my name is Boniface Mutwiri. I'm a practitioner in law. I practice under the law firm of Mutwiri and Mungera Company Advocates, mostly in the conveyancing sector, and I'm glad that I'm a guest today.
Yes.
Thank you.
Somebody mentioned to me that if you find yourself engaging or interacting with lawyers, just know that you are now in the adulting phase. So I don't know how true that is, but so Boniface, I have interacted with Boniface severally. He has been able to give me good legal advice. So that is why I felt that he is the best fit to discuss this topic for today. It is a topic that is a bit confusing to investors and even to agents, to companies. It is a very weighty topic. As I've said, we're discussing land purchase process in Kenya. Boniface, would you maybe can you tell us what is the process or what entails in land purchase process?
Thank you, Wambui. I think for starters, probably it's prudent that viewers know that for land purchase, essentially there has to be a contracting process. When I mean the contracting process, it's essentially a process whereby you have to enter into a contract with somebody for purposes of getting the land. So what is there is that there is normally what you normally call a sale agreement. So you may then ask, probably, how do you come to the point whereby you're doing a sale agreement? In most cases, you'll notice that advocates are the ones who normally handle land transactions. And it's advisable that you essentially have an advocate handling your transaction, because then you don't get into problems that you would have probably ended up in had you not contracted a lawyer. So ideally, there's supposed to be two lawyers who are supposed to be engaged in the process, and the first, of course, is for the vendor, the person who's selling the land, and then for the purchaser. So what normally happens is that you as a purchaser, of course, you're looking for a parcel of land that fits your requirements. So you probably go and get somebody who will show you a parcel of land that meets your requirement. And then, of course, there are the processes that you have to go through. First, of course, before the sale agreement is that you need to satisfy yourself that this land that you're buying is essentially a good buy. How do you do that? I know most people normally go to the ground. They identify that this is the parcel of land that I want to buy. Exactly. A visual, so that you probably are satisfied that this is the parcel of land that you need to buy. And beacons are pointed out, and you're told this is the land that you see in this particular title. But there are other processes that you need to undertake after that to satisfy yourself that indeed you're first dealing with the correct vendor, the person who's selling you the land. Secondly, the measurements probably as contained in the title document are correct. So what you need to do then is you approach a lawyer.
You've mentioned about measurements.
Yes.
So that is usually included in the title. as
Yeah,
well?
it's included in the title. I know most of the titles are normally the ones that you see, the title documents, you see a red seal at the
Yes.
bottom. If you look at those ones, you'll essentially see that it normally says, it gives the title name and then the acreage. So the acreage is normally contained in that title document.
Oh, so that's where you know that this particular land that you've seen is this size.
Exactly.
Okay.
But of course, you have to go the extra mile in terms of confirming that indeed that probably is the position.
Yeah.
And that's where now it's incumbent that you involve a lawyer, because what then will happen is that your lawyer will get in touch with the vendor to basically undertake what we normally call due diligence. Due diligence in this particular case will entail that your lawyer gets a copy of that title document, which you need to get from the vendor, conduct what we normally call an official search or a postal search. Some people know Ardhi Sasa. You can go to Ardhi Sasa, get what we normally call a postal search, which is something that you can do at the comfort of your home. Online. Or you can equally also, your advocate can equally also get you an official search, which you normally go to the registry, the relevant registry where that title is located. You pay 500 shillings, which is normally the amount that is charged.
So it's only 500?
Yeah, it's normally 500.
I was charged 2,000.
Okay, what normally happens, and I think most Kenyans know this, is that sometimes when you go and do an official search, you go and pay the 500 shillings. The search takes a bit of some time. You are normally told that 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. But there's normally what is called facilitation.
Fastening the process.
Exactly. So somebody at the registry gets the search for you in like a day or even hours.
Okay.
But the government is going with the digitization. I know most of our viewers probably have seen that there's the digitization process. The government wants to do away with the issue of manual searches, and eventually searches will even be free. But it's a process that has started in Nairobi, and hopefully it will go up to the 4 corners of Kenya. So we are hoping that that is something that eventually will be free.
Yeah.
Over and above, of course, the official search, there is also the issue of ascertaining that indeed the measurements as provided in the title document are correct. How do you do that? You can also get, you can also conduct, you get a cadastral map from Survey of Kenya. So that one.
What is that?
That one is basically a map showing the entire area whereby that land is located.
Or not just that specifically, or not the maps that are provided by a company showing the plots around. So a general map.
Yeah, you can. There are 2 sets. There's what we normally call the mutations or the deed plans. You can get those ones from, if you're buying the land from a developer, say, the developer can avail those ones for purposes of confirming that indeed what you're buying, the unit that you're buying is a product of the mutation or process or the deed plan process. Equally, you can also go to the Survey of Kenya, whereby you now get an area map of the entire place, which now gives you a very good idea of the land that you're buying, even the surrounding lands. And it's normally advisable to do that, because you might be buying land probably that is has changed in terms of the user, and probably there might be a road that will pass by, or an easement, or a way live.
In the future, right?
So it's important that you also conduct that particular kind of search, so that you satisfy yourself as to the requirement of buying a good parcel.
Okay. What is usually required in a land search? Somebody is doing them, whether by themselves or with a lawyer. What is usually required? As
a requirement, the registry normally requires a full page document of the title document. Equally, the person who is conducting the search, their ID, copy of their ID, so that they satisfy themselves as to why you want to do that search.
what is entailed in a search? Like, I'm saying I'm doing a search, but what is usually done behind there? What for it to come out as that the property is all right, I can proceed. What is done behind the scenes?
Okay. Now, let's say you've for a search process. Let's say you're doing a search on your own. What you normally are required to do is go and fill a form at the land registry. So this form, you normally give the title of the land that you're searching for and the purpose that you want the search for. So once you hand in the form together with a copy of your ID, together with a full page copy of the title document, in the land registry, what they normally do is they normally look at the records that they have. And the records essentially will include the green card for titles registered and registered land act. I'll give two scenarios. For the ones that are registered under registered land act, they normally go to the records, look at the green card. The green card contains a historical record of the land. So it will give a pointer as to whether the land has ever been charged to a bank, whether, say, that land has ever been discharged after that charge, whether there's any easement, whether there's any well-leave that has been registered against that land, and the current position in regard to the same land. Equally also whether there are any cautions or caveats. And this then provides the folder for, let's say, the registrar to record in the search. So you'll find that when the search is returned to you, it will have three sections. There's the property section, there's the encumbrance section, and the proprietorship section. Not in any particular order. In fact, the order is the property section, the proprietorship, and then the encumbrance section. So the property section will essentially give the record of who the owner is. It will tell you, let's say this land belongs to Wambui. The proprietorship section will give the acreage, the entry in terms of probably what number that record is, and whether there are any subdivisions or any other things that have been done on the land. The encumbrance section will give an indication as to whether there is any encumbrance on the land. Encumbrance means that any overriding interest. In this case, these overriding interests are normally either charged, say the property has been charged to a bank, whether there's any easement, well-leave like APLC has probably hived off a certain part of the land for purposes of passing the power or power line or any other well-leave that may have passed, let's say even water. So essentially that will be contained in the search. So it will give you a very clear record of what is there. For same case, the Registered Land Act, you can also get a green card, a certified copy of a green card. The certified copy of the green card will essentially give you a historical view of how the land has been dealt with, who bought the land from who and
the history.
they are normally numbered sequentially, so you'll find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
No names. It won't give any details, just numbers.
It will. The say record number 1 might be a subdivision of a larger parcel of land. Record number 2, a title was generated out of that. Probably the person who got the title sold it to a person X. So it will give you that record. The second scenario, was on the on the Registration of Titles Act. That is an act of parliament that was there, and like I said earlier, there are two types of titles that are normally very common. The one that has a red seal on the bottom, and the very big ones. The very big ones fall under that category of Registered Titles Act. And in those ones, it's normally very easy because the title document that probably has been availed to you as the purchaser has a record of all the transactions that have been done on it. So in that one, you don't really need to go to the, because there's no green card as such, but you normally look at just the entries that have been entered, and then once you do a search, it will also give you the essentially three issues that I've indicated: the property section, proprietorship, and then the encumbrance. So it will tell you whether this land equally has any of those issues that I earlier alluded to.
How long? You said it can take up to around 3 days, but depending.
Yeah, it normally takes around 3 days.
Yeah.
But of course, with facilitation, I believe when you asked for 2,000, probably the search was availed the same day. Or,
that is true. In a few hours.
So yeah, with that one, you can also get it very fast.
Okay. So assuming you have identified your lands, you have identified your property, you've done the search, and it has, what is the word? It's okay. You are satisfied rather.
Yes.
What's next after that?